Welcome to Live Life Well. In today's episode, we're going to explore what causes osteoarthritis to develop. Living and working in Tennessee, I've had the opportunity to take care of many farmers over the years. And farmers are often an entertaining, interesting, and even cantankerous at times group of professionals. Most of the time I would see them in the spring and in the fall when they've been planting or harvesting, and they've been spending hours and days sitting on that tractor, oftentimes with their neck turned for prolonged periods of time, so they're starting to have neck issues. Well, about 15 years ago, I had one of these gentlemen come in with these neck problems, and when he went and finally laid on my table, his pelvis was literally sitting at a 45-degree angle. So I started to ask him some questions about his lower back and his right hip. And he said, Matt, I'm just getting old. He said, they've told me I got arthritis in that hip and that I need a hip replacement. He said, it's just old age. So I asked Mr. John, I said, Mr. John, if it's old age, how old's the other hip? And he paused and he thought about it for a minute and he turned and he looked at me and he said, well, I guess it's the same damn age. I said, well, if it's the same age, why is one hip worn out to the point where you need a hip replacement and the other one's not? He said, you know what? He said, I've never thought about it that way. He said, as I think about it, he said, about 30 years ago, I'd fallen off of a combine and he said, I landed on that hip. And he said, I've had trouble with that hip ever since that fall, but when I fell, nothing was bleeding, nothing was broken, so I figured everything was okay. So what actually caused Mr. John's osteoarthritis and eventual need for a hip replacement? As we've resolved, it wasn't his age, or both hips would have had the same problems. It was the fact that he experienced a trauma that absorbed a lot of force and energy into his right hip, altering his mechanics, causing things to wear faster and more unevenly. Just like if your car is out of alignment, the tires are going to wear faster and they're going to wear unevenly. It doesn't just have to be a trauma such as a fall that causes these types of issues. More often, it's the repetitive traumas that we go through in life. Our body is often placed in a more compromised state as we're dealing with things like prolonged sitting, heavy lifting, playing sports, exercises. Traumas and stresses aren't just bad things, they're anything that forces your body to change. And it's when things are out of alignment and the mechanics aren't functioning well, that's what leads to osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis is a wear and tear arthritis. So how does osteoarthritis develop? It develops from bad mechanics. Let's face it, our bodies are gonna wear out. They're gonna break down and hopefully we trade them in for something better. But the question is, how do we get the most out of them in the meantime? We understand these principles with our car. We understand if we keep our car in good alignment and maintain it, it's gonna run better and it's gonna last longer. However, oftentimes we don't appreciate that those same mechanical principles that apply to our car also apply to the mechanics of our body. So what can we do to help best support it, keep it in good alignment, so that it can not only run better, but it can last longer and we can get the most out of it while we've got it. That's why if you find this information helpful, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell as we work to provide you with resources and products and information that can help you to better support your body so that you can live life well.